Fun fact, there are 3 cats in this room, and it is great. Hey everybody, my name is Maggie, and there's one of the cats. His name is Sushi, and he is fabulous. He's so soft, but he has claws, because he just scratched my thigh, ow. But he's very cute, and he purrs very easily. Actually, all of these cats purr insanely easily. And this has been my second day in Montpellier, and so far, information overload. There is so much to figure out about living here and how to work within a host family, how to basically study abroad without even touching on what we'll be doing for our studies. Basically, we got all of these packets of information, and we're supposed to just figure it out. And we're going to talk about it some more throughout this week, so we can settle in, and then classes start on Monday. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. I'm not scared. You're scared. But it will actually be fine. I'm just nervous because I don't want to really... I don't want to fail, because failure sucks, and I'd rather say that I did well. I want to establish a good relationship with my host family. I've now met all of the family, I guess. I'm only living with the mother, but she has 2 grown sons, and they both have girlfriends who are very sweet. One of them is about to have a baby, like I said in the last video, and I got to meet her today. She's lovely, and we're expecting her to have the baby within the next week or so, and I got to see the evidence of that. She was not as big as I thought she would be, I will say that. She is also very sweet. I think she'll be a great mother. And as you guys now know, there are 3 cats in this house, so I am happy because they all love my room. I'm not sure I want them to sleep in the room with me, so I'm probably going to have to kick them out, which I feel really bad about. But I feel like I would not get any sleep at all if I was petting cats and just having them on my bed. It would also take up a lot of space, and my bed isn't all that big, even though I'm really short. So there is also that to consider. I'd probably wind up kicking them off anyway, so we really might as well just toss them out and save them that. So, probably have to do that. But I'm definitely not as exhausted as I was. I slept pretty well last night, except for this one time that I got up at like 1 a.m. And it was just like, no, that's not cool. It's not acceptable. I need to sleep more, because I had planned on getting up at 6:30. Then I asked myself why, because we were leaving at 9 to go to orientation. So I slept in until 7:30 and was still completely ready by 9. So there's that. I have to leave by 8:30 tomorrow to make sure I get to the school on time at 9 to start orientation again. What are we doing tomorrow? I don't know. We are... Basically, we're going to talk about the classes we'll be taking at Aix-en-Provence, and then we're going to talk about transportation, the phone, money, and assurance. I'm pretty sure that has another meaning, but I'm taking it as like reassurances, like you're not going to die. But then we have a 2-hour break for lunch and get pictures, because apparently we need 2 pictures. That's our passports and visas, for them to get us all documented by paper. We did this all by technology, but they also need a paper form, so yay. Let's see. And then there's going to be élaboration des emplois du temps. Okay, I'm gonna guess that's working in France, but probably wrong about that. And then there's going to be démarche administrative. Okay, so we're gonna talk about basically how to get into the system of Université Paul-Valéry, and then we're just gonna probably do paperwork. That's what I'm taking that to mean, paperwork. That's gonna be so much fun. That's gonna be my day tomorrow. Today we did some talking about how to live in a host family and basically the rights and responsibilities of living with a host family, because the thing about this is I've been at college for 2.5 years now, pretty much on my own. I come and go as I please. I've just been pretty independent, and this is kind of taking that away in a strange way. For example, I have come here, computer. Yeah, I have this, which is basically a study abroad student rooming contract. Basically, I get my own room and places to put my stuff, and I get a bed, my own bed, and I don't have to share it, don't have to share the room, and I have a desk, which is what I'm filming on, with my laptop, because I am such a YouTube pro, guys. I have all the specialized equipment, and as you can probably tell by the video quality. But basically what all this says was, basically I'm in charge of keeping this organized, and the host parent will clean it once a week. So I don't have to do the cleaning, but I do have to make sure everything's neat and not a bomb went off, which is how my room usually looks. So gonna learn how to actually keep my stuff together. Yeah, right. Let's see, it also says that I can come and go from this house as I please, because I do live here, and I have a key to basically get in and out if I need to. Let's see. Also, that if I break something or it explodes, it's on me. And unless it was an accident. Well, even if it was an accident, because I have to pay to replace it. So, klutzy Megan. Warning. Let's see. Basically, for meals, they're responsible for providing me breakfast and dinner, which is fine by me. Child, what are you doing? And dinner will be every night at 7, and if I'm not on time, I have to let them know, basically, because they'll worry, because they like me so far, and they're in charge of me, and if something happens to me, they feel really guilty. So I have to let them know if I'm going to be late or if I'm not going to be there. Basically, I also have to conserve water and electricity, like basically how we do it in the States. Turn off the lights when you leave the room, because that's wasteful, and conserve water because water is a dying resource in the world in general. which we might not feel the effects of in the US, but definitely feel in other countries and other places where we just aren't that fortunate. So 5-minute showers, which for me is not a big deal because that's not really where I do my thinking or where I really take the time to rethink my day. This is how I do that. I used to do this in writing, but family and friends said, we're not going to see you for 6 months. This is nuts. We have to do Skype and everything and try to make sure I don't forget what you look like. This is another way for them to see what I'm doing and how I'm doing and all of that, and what's going on with my life without having to Skype for 6 hours. I mean, it's now 11 minutes in and we're not even went through this. So basically, be mindful of resources and stuff. And let's see. Also, I'm not allowed to sleep with light, which for me is fine. I don't sleep with a night light, so whatever. But I guess if you're one who likes to sleep with a light on or a little light somewhere, that might be an issue, but I don't know your life. I'm not going to pretend to. Then let's see. Oh, yeah. Basically, talking about visitors, which probably won't happen for me, or unless we have a project to do, but I don't see why we wouldn't do that at the library or at a cafe. That's where most people meet up here in France to either study or just socialize in general, so I don't know why we wouldn't just get tea and coffee and some kind of pastry and meet up there. I mean, I don't know. It also says that I can't have people to stay the night without telling her, and I can also be charged for having someone stay, or they'll be charged to stay the night, I guess. And basically I have to ask to have people over if I have people over, which we kind of touched on, saying how I'm not gonna do that. Hey baby. Let's see. Basically I'm not allowed to smoke or drink in my room, which I don't smoke, so not a problem. I'm actually allergic to cigarette smoke. Maggie, why are you studying in France where they smoke all day? I'm a French major. Where else would I go? And then, as far as drinking in my room, for me and for French people in general, drinking is a social thing. You don't do it alone in your room. That looks kind of problematic to them. Make them think you have a little problem. That's basically why. For the reputation the French have, I have yet to see my host family really use wine other than putting it in food, and she's only done that once. She did flambéed bananas, and I don't really like bananas. The texture is just awful. And I liked them because she put sugar on them and cooked them and it tasted good. But I still don't like the texture. But the taste made up for it. Same thing with tomatoes yesterday. She put, I don't even know what she did to them, but they tasted good. Tomatoes textures, though, still suck. Hate it. But I still ate it because, again, the taste trumps texture. Sometimes. Sometimes it's just too bad. Like putting stuff in yogurt. Hate it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Nope. Let's see. Basically, I can stay out as late as I want as long as I respect the fact that reasonably people will be sleeping, and I'm not really the type to go and stay out at all hours anyway, so I don't think that'll ever be an issue at all. So far I can handle this. I'm gonna be okay. And then basically be careful with the furniture also, because these floors are actually really nice. They just got redone according to Anik, my host mom, and that's cool. Let's see. Basically keep things clean as I can as I left them, which, duh, you're living here, so treat it like your home, but don't be a crappy homeowner. Like, you wouldn't want to break stuff, and of course you wouldn't do it on purpose, but you'd have to pay to replace it usually, so that's really nothing new. Let's see. I'm responsible for doing my own laundry, basically because they can just give me use of the dryer and washer. They dry things outside, which is cool. Just use nature to do whatevs, and that's awesome. Basically, unless it's raining, the laundry goes outside. Let's see. Basically, the phone that they have, I'm not allowed to use it before asking them, but I have this, so don't need to use it. Basically, this is kind of a duh thing, but also that if I do use the phone with their permission, I can only do it between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., which is reasonable. You're not gonna wake me up at 6 a.m. with a phone call. That's rude. That would also mean it's midnight in America and the East Coast, so that's pretty late at night in America too, no matter what time zone you're in. Like 10 o'clock at night I think would be the earliest that would be possible, because the West Coast is 4 hours behind the East. So there's that. Oh, and I have to let them know if I'm not going to be home for a night, or if I decide to travel, tell them so that they don't cook for me and stuff, which is, again, reasonable. Let's see. Basically, if she's not gonna be at dinner, there will be food for me. There will be stuff to heat up, and there will be cheese and fruit, which is good. That actually happened tonight because she had a painting class that she's doing, which is cool. So her son and I ate dinner together, and he left to see a friend in the hospital who's having a baby, a little boy, which is cute, and that was cool. So, not really a problem as long as I get fed. Don't really care. basically, at the end of this, I have to basically leave this room as I found it and give her back the key, which you have to do that for a dorm room. Have to do that when you leave someone's house after staying with them, so again, not really that big of a deal. Ow. Don't claw me. None of these cats are good clawed, by the way. Aye! Pourquoi? Ça me fait mal. Ugh. Let's see. Basically, she promises to speak in French, and only French, unless I get totally lost and confused and can't do it, and then she'll try English. But my host mom, she does speak a little English. She's definitely not fluent, but she's pretty good with it. It's not that big of a deal. But I'm here to be immersed, so not really what I want. I don't think we'll ever have such big communication gaps where she'll have to translate what she's saying into English. Anything more than little bits of vocabulary, anyway, because they use different words, because this is Montpellier and not Paris, and I know Parisian French. And they have different words for things here. So yeah, that's another thing to consider. If you're taking a language, or even if you just go to England, the vocabulary is not the same. We probably all know that the Brits say they're walking on the pavement when Americans says they're walking on the sidewalk. I mean, that's just a given. Words are different wherever you go. Even in the north and south of the United States, as I've found out, it's completely different way of looking at things. The Southerners say, bless your heart, which sounds like a really nice thing to say, but be warned, because it's actually a huge insult. It usually follows something like, let's see, I don't even know, but it usually follows an insult. Or someone will have said something and the Southern woman will simply look at her and say, bless your heart, and that's a immediate burn should follow that, except I don't know how to edit videos, so we're just gonna not. But imagine there's just burn all over that, because that's not good. You don't want to hear that directed at you. Just telling you right now. Basically, if there's anything I need to know, if there's anything I'm not understanding in this or in the time I'm staying here, to ask, which, yes, absolutely. If there is something you're not understanding with your host family, or there's something you're unsure about, if there's something you just have a question about, ask. Ask. Do not let yourself remain in the dark or unsure about what to do when a simple question can fix that. We talked about this in orientation, actually. When you're in doubt, just say, I don't really do this way back home. Is it different here? Or if you're unsure about whether it's okay to take your plate to the sink, just ask. They're very simple things that can make you feel really uncomfortable really quickly, because sometimes there will be things where you don't know the details, like manners. The French don't put their hands in their laps during their meals. That's not a thing. They put them on the table like this. Just imagine that the bottom of the video is the table. They hold their wrists up. They also put bread directly on the table, not on their plate, and they rip little chunks out of it and eat it. That's not an American thing at all. We put the bread on our plate. We put all the food on our plates. And it's just a different way of being polite. It's not to say that you should put your elbows on the table. That's still rude. Still rude. But, I mean, if you go to India, you eat only with your right hand, even if you're not right-handed, and you keep your left hand in your lap with your napkin. The left hand is for cleaning, and the right hand is for feeding, basically. No matter what. So, it's a cultural thing that can be cleared up with a really simple question. Honestly, just... Also, if you're thinking about studying abroad, just learn about your host culture, even if it is Anglophone or where you speak the same language, because things will absolutely be different, and I'm not just talking about slang or different ways of saying things, like, there's an expression here where you call the nose the beef. Beef, as in, like, the cow, except it's not the cow, it's your nose, which is interesting, because Parisians wouldn't say that. They're far too proud to be French. So, I'm gonna knock on Paris a lot. So just be ready for that. But yeah, do some research on how to say things, how things work, especially in the home. If you speak a language other than your host countries, look up what I usually term the tourist language of that. It's basic things you need to know: how to order food, how to find your way around town, how to find the restroom. Also look up curse words. Not to use them necessarily, but you'll hear them, and you should understand what they mean, especially if they're directed at you, because that can be an indication that you're in trouble. So, learning curse words is just good for being aware of a situation. Sometimes it's implied with the tone, but other times it just sounds like gibberish. Like, there's some Russian curse words that just sound so strange and just, I guess, foreign to me. And Russian, as most Americans think, sounds angry anyway, so it can be hard to tell the tone sometimes, especially if they communicate their emotions differently than we do. So there's that to consider as well. And good God, I've almost been talking for half an hour. Okay, so this is how this is gonna go. Okay. Let's see. Today was just interesting to get used to what I'm doing here. I rode the public transport. I was able to work my way around the household, which is good. I had a good conversation with one of the sons, Jean-Louis, and he's really nice. And I was able to basically have a day in France with a lot of English at orientation, because they said they were working us into that, but pretty much all French when I got home, which was good. But yeah, I have 3 cats in my room. I have tea. I have a nice host family, and I have been well fed. That's about it for today. I will see y'all tomorrow, and we'll see how more orientation and information overload goes. Bye, guys.